People on the internet love to talk about Gen Z as if we're all just 12 years old, and especially older people love saying,
Gen Z never experienced this, or they have no clue what this is.
so today I'm going to be reacting to all the things that they say we've never experienced. And if you like this type of content, leave me a like and subscribe, and let's get into the video. You know, for some reason, most people don't realize that the oldest person in Gen Z is 29 years old. Like, most of Gen Z is above the age of 18. Alright, up first, we have slamming down the receiver on a landline telephone. We experienced this. We had landline telephones in the house. Like, Gen Z grew up in the 2000s. That's when landline telephones were very popular. Yes, we know this. And the quote under pushing the red button is not nearly as satisfying. Do you think all of Gen Z just grew up with iPhones from the start? Like, no! Okay, next one. Having a 3-ring binder of CDs for road trips. My family had one of these. I specifically remember it was this black binder my dad had, and it was a 2x2, and that's exactly what we had. And next, parents not knowing where their kids are and trusting them not to get into trouble. Once again, do you think we all just had phones growing up in our childhoods? No, like, the amount of times growing up, we'd be like, hey mom, I'm gonna go play with my friends, we're riding bikes, and she'd just be like, okay, be safe. Like, didn't have a phone, didn't have a way to contact her, that's just how it was. Like, my childhood was like that. Me and my friends, my brothers, we would hang out, no phones, we would just tell our parents, hey, we're going to the pool, or we're riding bikes, or we're gonna go play basketball. We would just do that and go, and they would trust us. Like, that's not a thing only 90s and 80s and 70s kids did. Making plans to meet friends and having to commit because you didn't have mobile phones to ask where they were, how far, and if they still were coming. Once again, this goes back to what I just said. It's not like we had phones from the start, all right? We still use landline telephones, all right? We'd call and be like, hey, we're going here? All right, I'll meet you there. Like, we all did that, or at least a lot of us did in Gen Z. How to use the card catalog in the library, the ones with the cards in the drawers. Once again, we all learned how to do this. I learned how to do this in elementary school. I remember we had an entire week, maybe it was 2 weeks, of just learning how to use the library and like the card catalogs. Yes. And next, how we got around without GPS navigation. I quite literally remember my parents bringing maps with them when we would go like driving to different places, or we'd print out directions, write it down beforehand. We experienced this, okay? Like, I don't understand. This is like, they're trying to gatekeep nostalgia, and it's just not working. Saturday morning cartoons. Do they really think we didn't experience Saturday morning cartoons? Do they think that for some reason everything that happened in the 90s just automatically stopped in the 2000s? Like, I'm so confused. Every Saturday morning, I'd watch Pokemon, I'd watch Looney Tunes, I'd watch anything, because cartoons were what made a Saturday morning. Every Gen Z kid, hell, even kids now watch cartoons Saturday morning. Like, genuinely, what are they talking about? Do they think we're Gen Alpha? Do they think we're just kids who are 10 years old, 12 years old, and don't know what a cartoon is? Like, this is actually pissing me off, because this makes no sense. Circling pictures of toys in the Sears catalog as a Christmas list. Oh my god, bro. Once again, we all did this. If you were in Gen Z, yes, you did this, because I remember you get the nice little catalog, and going through that was my favorite part, in showing my parents, oh, I want this, or I want this. That was my favorite part of Christmas. And once again, to my point, do millennials and Gen Xers just think like everything that happened in the 90s just stopped in the 2000s? MTV played music videos, had music discussion shows, and had news about music 24 hours a day at one point. Yeah, that's what MTV is. It's what it was. Like, if you grew up in the 2000s, that's what MTV was. I remember I turned on MTV as a little kid, and you'd see music videos, you'd see all these other different things. Like, that is what I remember MTV as. Like, that's not something we don't know. And next, having to properly time getting a drink and snack before the ad break on TV finished. Do they think we're like aliens or something? Like, this was a staple. If you were watching any show, any movie, you knew you had 2.5 to 3 minutes in between commercials. So that's when you would run, get your popcorn, your drinks, go use the bathroom. And there was nothing like when you were up and you weren't on the couch and you heard your brother or someone go, hey, yo, the show's back on. And you would just start sprinting back to the couch. These days, kids can make masterful drawings on their iPads, but years ago, Etch-a-Sketches were the vanguards of creative drawing tablets. This is so disrespectful, right? Do they think we didn't grow up with Etch-a-Sketches? Those were one of the best parts of my childhood, because I loved playing with Etch-a-Sketches. I loved drawing things. Like, I always wanted to make a perfect circle in an Etch-a-Sketch, and I never could. But like, this is something we all grew up with. Like, this is not something that Gen Z has no clue about. Since Netflix has taken over the entertainment industry, Gen Z will never enjoy a trip to Blockbuster to rent videos. Well, Blockbuster was still around when we were growing up, so that's just not true. Like, I used to go with my parents to rent a DVD every Friday and we'd get a new movie or a new show and we would watch it. Like, we would do that. It wasn't like we just had, all this like Amazon Prime and like Hulu and HBO Max and all these different things. Like, Netflix was around, but it wasn't like it is now. Like, I just don't understand what these takes are. Watching the TV for snow day announcements. See, now I just think they're trying to rage bait us because we all did this. I remember waking up super early either before school or staying up late the night before school when it was snowing to see if it would get canceled. Like, this wasn't something that you just got a notification on your phone or email. No, the news would announce this. We all saw this, all right? We all experienced this. Looking up information in a phone book. Once again, I remember the big ass phone book that my parents had on our kitchen table. Like, yes, we would use it. I remember looking it up and calling restaurants or places, like using those numbers. Like, I just don't understand why so many people think Gen Z is just 12 years old. I mean, there are people in Gen Z who are pushing 30, all right? A lot of us are in our 20s. Like, we're not just 12. And the thing is, we grew up in the 2000s, okay? It's similar to the 90s. It's not the same, but there are a lot of the same things that we both experienced, all right? All the technology from the 90s didn't stop when it hit 2000, so there's some overlap there. So now that you've seen everything, let me know which ones you guys have experienced. And with that being said, I'll see y'all later.